In the bowels of time, before Moses raised his rod and the plagues fell upon Egypt before Prometheus stole fire from Olympus, there was a story whispered by the wind among the palm trees of Canaan. It was a tale of flies buzzing in the midday heat, of bountiful harvests blessed by rain, and of a god with a name that made the moon pale, Beelzebub. He was not a celestial god of white marble and angelic hymns. Baal-Zebub ruled from the shadows, from the chirping of cicadas and the stirring of the fertile earth. He was a king of the earthly abundant, temporary, an enigma of iridescent wings and beetle horns. His story is not of gilded temples or biblical sermons, but of the countryside stillness, the peasant's sweat and frenzied dances under the full moon. Beelzebub was originally a god of fertility and prosperity worshipped by the Canaanites, an ancient people inhabiting today's Middle East. His name means Lord of the House or Dwelling, and he was associated with the god Baal, the chief god of the Canaanites. Beelzebub was worshipped in the Philistine city of Ekron, where he had a temple and an oracle. The Canaanites offered him animal and child sacrifices for his favor and protection. Beelzebub was the god of life who made the earth fertile, granted harvests, blessed livestock, and ensured offspring. Beelzebub was also the god of war, the one who gave victory, the one who protected from enemies, the one who punished rebels, and the one who demanded loyalty. Beelzebub was the supreme god of the Philistines. Other neighboring peoples recognized it, such as the Moabites, the Ammonites, the Edomites, and the Phoenicians. However, with the advent of Jewish monotheism, Beelzebub was considered a false god and an enemy of Yahweh, the God of Israel. The Jewish prophets denounced the worship of Beelzebub as an abomination and idolatry. They ridiculed him by changing his name to Baal-Zebub, meaning Lord of the Flies. This nickname was because flies fed on the corpses of the sacrifices offered to Beelzebub, and because flies were considered carriers of disease and corruption. The Jews accused Beelzebub of being the cause of the plagues, pestilences, famines, droughts, and misfortunes that plagued their people. The Jews also attributed to Beelzebub the responsibility for false prophets, magicians, soothsayers, sorcerers, and witches who practiced necromancy, divination, astrology, and the invocation of spirits. The Jews rejected Beelzebub as an impure, evil, and detestable god, and identified him with Satan, the adversary of God. According to Christian tradition, Beelzebub was not only a pagan god, but also a fallen angel who rebelled against God and became a demon. The worship of Beelzebub spread to other parts of the ancient world. In the Bible, Beelzebub is first mentioned in the Gospel of Matthew when Jesus is accused of being possessed by him. Jesus responds to the accusation, "If I cast out demons by the power of Beelzebub, by whom do your children cast them out?" Matthew 12:27. This response suggests that Beelzebub was a well-known figure in Jesus' time and that he was associated with demonic possession. Beelzebub was one of God's most beloved and valuable angels, belonging to the order of the cherubim, the angels closest to God. Beelzebub was beautiful, intelligent, powerful, proud, and ambitious. Tempted by Lucifer, the brightest angel of all, Beelzebub joined his rebellion against God and other angels who formed a third of heaven. The angels' rebellion provoked a heavenly war in which Michael, the leading archangel of the faithful angels, confronted Lucifer and his followers. The battle was fierce and bloody, but in the end, God intervened and expelled the rebellious angels from heaven, casting them into hell. Beelzebub became one of the princes of the demons, along with Lucifer and Leviathan, forming the false demonic trinity. Beelzebub was assigned the cardinal sin of gluttony. It was given the power to fly and control flies, which became his symbol and plague. In the 1st century after Christ, Christianity became the dominant religion in the Roman Empire. Christians regarded Beelzebub as an evil figure and associated him with Satan. In the Middle Ages, Beelzebub became a central figure in Christian demonology. He was depicted as a demon with the head of an ox, a bat's wings, and a scorpion's tail. He was also associated with lust, gluttony, greed, envy, and anger. Baal-Zebub was second in command to Lucifer, the king of demons, and in charge of organizing and directing the infernal legions. Baal-Zebub was the most cunning and persuasive of the demons, capable of seducing and deceiving angels and humans with his lies and promises. Baal-Zebub was the most feared and hated of the demons by angels and humans, who considered him the enemy of their souls and salvation. Beelzebub was the most rebellious and defiant of the demons. They never repented of his sin and always sought ways to take revenge on God and his creation. From hell, Beelzebub continued to oppose God and his work, trying to tempt, deceive, and corrupt human beings. Beelzebub manifested himself in various forms and under various names, depending on the culture and time. Beelzebub was responsible for many demonic possessions, in which he entered the body and minds of people, making them suffer and act in evil ways. Beelzebub was also the object of many pacts. He offered wealth, power, pleasure, and knowledge in exchange for soul and fidelity. Beelzebub also inspired many works of art, literature, music, and film, in which he was depicted as an enemy or a character, frighteningly or ironically. In ancient times, a deity known as Baal-Zebub was worshipped in Canaan and Philistia. This name, meaning Lord, was given to various local deities. Baal-Zebub was a figure of reverence and respect. Still, with the advent of Hebrew monotheism, his image began to change, gradually evolving into an emblem of evil. Although Beelzebub is not mentioned by name in Islam, figures such as Iblis and Shaitan share similar characteristics. These figures are known for their opposition to God and their role as seducers of humans, representing the idea of a supreme evil being, a concept found in both Judeo-Christianity and Islam. With the passing of the centuries and the spread of Christianity in Europe, many pagan divinities were reinterpreted as evil entities. Beelzebub, originally from Baal-Zebub, became a clear example of this transformation. He was frequently mentioned in medieval literature and oral traditions, adopting various demonic or diabolical forms, thus showing the beliefs and fears of that time. Beelzebub, over time, has been adapted and transformed in various cultures, representing the beliefs and fears of each era. In the arts, from painting to literature, he has inspired many, taking on roles ranging from the embodiment of evil to rebellion against the establishment. Recently, with a growing interest in the esoteric and occult, Beelzebub has found a new place in modern culture. Current interpretations of Beelzebub are varied, ranging from a merely symbolic figure to an actual entity in certain esoteric beliefs. In the movie, The Exorcist, Beelzebub is the demon that possesses the girl, Regan McNeil. In the book Lord of the Flies, Beelzebub is the god worshipped by the children who survive a plane crash on a desert island. In the song Mr. Crowley by Ozzy Osbourne, Beelzebub is the name of the demon that inspired the British musician. Beelzebub was the antagonist of many saints, exorcists, martyrs, and heroes who confronted him and his demons, trying to free souls from his influence and dominion. Beelzebub was the protagonist of many myths, legends, tales, and fables that narrated his exploits, traps, punishments, and failures. Beelzebub was the hallmark of many movements, sects,